Heavenly Father, in the quiet stillness before the dawn, when the world outside is hushed and the burdens of the day begin to press upon my soul, I come before you. My heart, Lord, is like a tempestuous sea tossed by waves of anxiety, fear, and doubt. The whispers of the world, the echoes of past failures, and the looming shadows of future uncertainties conspire to steal my peace, leaving me adrift in a sea of inner turmoil. I confess, Father, that sometimes this agitation feels overwhelming, a constant hum beneath the surface of my existence, threatening to drown out the gentle whisper of your presence. I am weary, Lord, so weary of this internal storm, of the constant battle to find calm amidst the chaos. Yet, even in this state of unrest, a flicker of hope ignites within me, a deep-seated knowledge that you are the anchor for my soul, the calm in the eye of my personal hurricane. Your word, Jesus, reminds me in Psalm 46:10 to be still and know that I am God. This simple yet profound command is the very lifeline I reach for now. It is not a call to inaction, but an invitation to surrender, to cease my frantic efforts to control the uncontrollable and to trust in your sovereign power. I yearn to experience that stillness, that deep abiding peace that comes from knowing you are in absolute control, even when my circumstances scream otherwise. This prayer is for the soul that feels fractured, for the spirit that has been battered by the relentless winds of life. It is for the one who wakes in the night with a racing heart, for the one who carries the weight of unspoken worries, for the one who feels the gnawing emptiness of isolation even in a crowded room. It is for you, my friend, who seeks not just a temporary reprieve, but a profound, soul-deep solace. We are not meant to carry these heavy loads alone. The enemy of our souls, the adversary who seeks to steal, kill, and destroy, thrives on our fragmentation, on our disconnection from the source of all peace. He delights in sowing seeds of discord within our hearts, cultivating a garden of fear and despair. But we are called to a higher calling, a life of victory, a life rooted in the unshakable foundation of God's unfailing love. This prayer is an act of defiance against that darkness, a declaration that we will not succumb to the whispers of defeat. It is a conscious choice to turn our gaze from the storm to the one who commands the seas, to shift our focus from the overwhelming circumstances to the unchanging promises of our Creator. We are embarking on a journey together, a pilgrimage of the Spirit, to find that sacred space where the soul can finally exhale, where the restless heart can find its true resting place. This is not about suppressing our emotions or pretending that the struggles do not exist. Rather, it is about bringing those struggles into the light of God's presence, allowing His truth to penetrate the deepest recesses of our being. It is about understanding that our peace is not dependent on the absence of trials, but on the presence of God in the midst of them. I understand the temptation to believe that our own strength is the only resource we have, that we must fight every battle alone. But the truth that will set us free is that we are never alone. God Himself walks with us, His hand outstretched, ready to lift us, to guide us, to sustain us. This prayer is a testament to that divine companionship, a vocalization of our deep yearning for His presence to permeate every fiber of our existence, bringing a healing balm to every wounded part. It is a commitment to seek His face, to listen for His voice, and to trust in His perfect plan, even when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. We are seeking a transformation, a renewal of our minds and spirits, so that we can face each day not with dread, but with a quiet confidence born of His strength. The bedrock of our peace, my brothers and sisters, lies not in the absence of external pressures, but in the profound truth of God's unwavering sovereignty, a truth powerfully articulated in passages like Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This isn't merely a comforting phrase, it's a divine declaration of intent, a promise that His presence is not a passive observation but an active intervention. When the world seems intent on crushing us, when the weight of responsibility feels like a physical burden pressing down on our chests, it is this promise that we must grasp with tenacious faith. It signifies that He doesn't just witness our struggles, He is intricately involved, personally invested in our victory. He promises not just to be near, but to actively strengthen us, to infuse us with His own divine fortitude, and to help us, not with a detached assistance, but with a deeply personal engagement. Furthermore, the phrase "I will uphold you with my righteous right hand" paints a vivid picture of divine support. Imagine a skilled climber, securely anchored by an experienced guide, being lifted over treacherous terrain. That is the essence of God's upholding power. His righteous right hand represents His justice, His power, and His unending love, all working in concert to keep us from falling, to lift us above the immediate threat, and to secure our footing on solid ground. This is not a conditional offer. It is a steadfast commitment, a testament to His unchanging nature. Building on this divine assurance, consider how this applies when you face the insidious whispers of self-doubt. These internal critics, often amplified by past setbacks or societal pressures, can erode our confidence and paralyze our resolve. They tell us we are inadequate, incapable, or undeserving of peace. However, God's promise in Isaiah is a direct counterargument to these deceitful narratives. He doesn't say, "If you are strong enough, I will help you." He says, "I will strengthen you." This means his strength is the source, not our own perceived ability. When you feel your own strength waning, when the inner voice of condemnation becomes deafening, recall that God's power is being actively channeled into you. It's like plugging an appliance into a power source. The energy isn't generated by the appliance itself, but by the grid. Similarly, our spiritual resilience is not self-generated but drawn from the infinite reservoir of God's power. Consequently, when the storm of anxiety rages and you feel yourself faltering, remember that you are being upheld. This means you are not left to fend for yourself against the gales of worry. His righteous right hand is actively stabilizing you, preventing you from being swept away. It's a continuous act of support, ensuring that even in the midst of the fiercest winds, your spiritual foundation remains secure. Moreover, let us explore the practical application of this truth in our daily interactions and decisions. When faced with complex choices or challenging conversations, the temptation is to rely on our own limited wisdom and experience. We might overthink, strategize excessively, or become paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong move. Yet, God's promise of strength and help extends to every facet of our lives. He desires to guide our steps, to imbue our words with wisdom, and to grant us discernment. Think of a seasoned navigator charting a course through unfamiliar waters, relying on their instruments and expertise. In our spiritual journey, God is that ultimate navigator. His promise to help us means we can consult him on every matter, large or small. This isn't about seeking divine intervention for trivialities, but about integrating his wisdom into the very fabric of our decision-making process. When you feel unsure about a direction, a relationship, or a career path, pause and consciously invite his help. Speak the promise aloud. "Lord, you said you would help me. Guide my thoughts, illuminate my path, and give me the wisdom I need." This act of vocalizing faith transforms the abstract promise into a tangible request, activating his promised assistance in that specific moment. Another crucial layer is understanding that this divine strengthening and upholding is intrinsically linked to his righteousness. His righteous right hand signifies that his support is always aligned with his perfect character and his just will. This means that when we lean on him, we are not just receiving power, but we are being drawn into alignment with his perfect nature. It's a process of sanctification, where his strength empowers us not just to endure, but to overcome in ways that honor him. Conversely, when we try to navigate life relying solely on our own strength, we often find ourselves operating outside of his perfect will, leading to further frustration and unrest. His upholding power is designed to keep us within the safety and purpose of his plan. It's like a shepherd guiding his flock. He doesn't just protect them from predators, but he also leads them to green pastures and still waters, ensuring their well-being and sustenance. His righteous hand guides us toward spiritual nourishment and safety, preventing us from straying into dangerous territory, both internally and externally. Therefore, embracing his promise means embracing his perfect way, trusting that his strength will enable us to live a life that reflects his character, bringing true and lasting peace. Reflecting on this journey so far, we've moved from the profound acknowledgement of inner turbulence to the foundational strength offered by divine promises. The understanding has deepened that our resilience is not a matter of inherent fortitude, but a direct impartation from an inexhaustible source. We've seen how the very nature of God's commitment acts as an unwavering bulwark against the forces that seek to destabilize us, a constant affirmation that we are not merely participants in life's challenges, but are actively supported through them. This realization fosters a shift in perspective, moving us from a posture of anxious striving to one of confident reliance. The inherent power and unwavering presence that have been illuminated are not abstract concepts, but active principles, designed to infuse our daily existence with a profound sense of peace. Irrespective of external conditions, as we pivot towards the final reflection, consider the cumulative effect of these interwoven truths. It's akin to a complex tapestry, where individual threads, though distinct, contribute to a unified and breathtaking whole. Each insight, each promise, each affirmation serves as a vital strand, weaving together a narrative of divine faithfulness that envelops and sustains. The ongoing process of aligning our inner landscape with these celestial realities cultivates a profound inner stillness, a sanctuary that cannot be breached by the world's clamor. This cultivated peace is not a fragile bloom, easily withered by adversity, but a deep-rooted tree whose branches reach towards the heavens, unyielding to the fiercest winds. The understanding is dawning that this internal fortification is not a passive state to be achieved, but an active, living engagement with the very source of all peace. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, illuminated by the consistent presence and empowering grace that have been so powerfully revealed. The journey thus far has equipped us with the understanding that our capacity to navigate life's complexities is directly proportional to our willingness to surrender and trust in a power far greater than our own. This surrender is not an abdication of responsibility, but a recalibration of our efforts, directing them towards a source that never falters. It is the recognition that true strength is found not in self-sufficiency, but in a profound and active dependence on the divine. This ongoing immersion in the truth of God's unwavering support and active participation in our lives transforms the very essence of our experience, preparing us for a conclusion that solidifies this profound truth, anchoring our souls in a peace that transcends all understanding and outward circumstance. And so, as we reach this sacred pause, let the echoes of God's unwavering presence resonate within the deepest chambers of your being. The agitation that once seemed an insurmountable tide is not erased by denial, but transformed by the profound realization that you are held within an eternal embrace. This is not merely about finding a moment of quiet, but about cultivating a permanent sanctuary of peace, a spiritual fortress built not of stone, but of unshakable faith and divine assurance. The very essence of our being is called to rest in this truth, that in every season of trial, in every whisper of doubt, in every surge of anxiety, the hand of God is not only present but actively engaged in upholding, strengthening, and guiding us. This is the ultimate revelation that our peace is not contingent upon the calmness of our surroundings, but upon the steadfast faithfulness of our Creator. Consider this: the stillness we seek is not the absence of external storms, but the presence of an unshakable calm within, a direct impartation from the very source of all tranquility. This inner peace, once awakened, becomes a beacon, radiating outwards, transforming not only our own perspective but influencing the very atmosphere around us. It is the quiet confidence that arises from knowing that even when the path is unclear, the navigator is intimately familiar with every turn. This is the profound implication of our journey, that true spiritual warfare is often won not with outward pronouncements alone, but with the quiet, determined act of anchoring our souls in the certainty of God's love and power, even when our emotions scream otherwise. The true practice begins now, in the conscious choice to recenter our focus, to breathe in His peace, and to exhale our anxieties, trusting that He who has begun this good work within us will indeed bring it to completion, transforming every restless thought into a quiet testament to His enduring grace. The lasting impact of this prayer lies not in a singular, fleeting experience, but in the cultivation of an ongoing communion, a continuous realignment of our hearts with the heart of God. This is the quiet revolution of the soul, where surrendering our perceived need for control becomes the ultimate act of strength. It is in this surrendered posture that we discover a reservoir of resilience we never knew we possessed, a wellspring of hope that bubbles up even in the driest of seasons. Let this understanding settle deep within you, that you are not merely weathering the storms of life, but are being actively carried through them by a love that is boundless and a power that is absolute. Embrace this truth not as a destination, but as a continuous unfolding, a daily practice of returning to that sacred center where peace resides, knowing that in Him your soul finds its eternal rest and its truest strength.